Across America, I've been hearing these reports for years of these giant spiders that are sometimes the size of dogs. Now, a lot of the reports come from the Appalachia, the Pacific Northwest, and the South. The first sighting actually goes back to 1948 when a family in Leesville, Louisiana, happened to be walking to church one Sunday when they see this very large spider walk across the road into the woods. And they described it as being as large as a wash tub. Now, in 2005, there were all of these reports coming from Fort Polk in Louisiana that these soldiers were encountering these spiders that were sometimes larger than a hubcap. And the first story that I actually heard was this soldier who apparently his unit was on some sort of training exercise and they were testing out night vision goggles when they spot this very large spider. They said it looked sort of like a tarantula, and this thing reared up at them. The next report comes in 2009 when you have another soldier who said during another training exercise, they were camping, and in the middle of the night, he sees at the foot of his tent what looks like a man with a very long beard. Except as he looks closer, he realizes this is the foot of some sort of large looking creature. And this thing just backs out and takes off into the woods. Now, the latest encounter with these giant spiders comes from the Appalachia. There was this woman who said in 2022, she was looking for a place to start an art studio. She found this home right in a very secluded wooded area, and she purchases it. Well, she said as she moved in and she started to fix this place up, she noticed that it was just completely quiet outside. There was never any insects, any squirrels, any birds, any deer. It was just void of wildlife. The other thing she notices are these very large holes in the ground, the size of basketballs. Well, she said one night she's laying in bed and she hears what sounds like something scurrying in the attic. And whatever this was very large. And she said it just was moving back and forth, back and forth. And then it eventually turned into a scratching sound in her bedroom. Well, for months, this went on like every night. And then she said one night she was walking through the hallway and she discovered something hanging out of the vent, which she described as this large pipe cleaner. She touched it and this thing receded back into the attic. And she said, all this weird stuff would happen where she thought, it could be an animal or maybe it's like, my house is haunted. But then one day her dog goes missing and she searches and searches and she can't find this dog until one day she's walking through the woods and she discovers all of this spider webbing. And she said, it must have been up to like 12, 13 foot high. And within that webbing, she finds her dog. And it all clicked to her. Wait a second. She was like, that sound that I've been hearing in the attic, I think that was like a very large spider, and it was trying to claw and dig into the ceiling to get to me at night.